What if gravity was suddenly turned off? 23 scenarios that would blow your mind. Scenario 1. You start floating immediately. Your feet leave the ground without warning. You grab the door frame, but everything else, your chair, your phone, your cat, rises into the air. People scream as cars lift off roads. Dishes collide midair, and streets become unpredictable mazes of floating debris. You're not falling, you're drifting. The world has turned into a zero-G nightmare. Scenario 2. The oceans rise into the sky. With no gravity holding them down, oceans start to rise, not in waves, but in colossal globes of water. Entire seas become floating blobs above the earth. Ships get sucked upward. Marine life flails in open air. Water evaporates slowly from these floating orbs, becoming impossible to reclaim. Earth's blue identity begins to unravel. Scenario 3. The atmosphere begins to escape. Air, no longer tethered by gravity, starts to drift into space. First, the winds disappear. Then the pressure drops. Breathing becomes labored. Planes fall silent. The sky turns darker as the upper atmosphere peels away. Earth begins to lose the very thing that makes life possible, its breath. Scenario 4. Buildings fall apart. Upward. Skyscrapers, bridges, and homes were never built to fight upward pull. Bolts snap, walls tear, and steel beams twist as structures begin to rise like wrecked ships breaking the ocean surface. Roads tear up in chunks. Cities disintegrate from the ground up. Humanity's architecture floats into ruin. Scenario 5. The moon drifts away. The moon, once tethered to Earth, begins a slow escape. Tides disappear. Nights grow darker. Lunar gravity no longer balances Earth's wobble. Over time, the planet's axial tilt shifts wildly, throwing weather patterns into chaos. Winters where summers once were. Storms in strange places. All because our cosmic companion no longer cares to stay. Scenario 6. You lose all sense of up and down. Without gravity, your inner ear, your natural balance system, goes haywire. You spin uncontrollably, unable to distinguish up from down. Your body floats awkwardly, nausea creeping in. Without walls or floors to orient you, movement becomes disorienting and terrifying. Even walking in a straight line becomes impossible. Scenario 7. Planes and satellites lose trajectory. Aircrafts, once guided by gravity-based lift, lose control. Jets stall midair. Pilots scream as engines whine into silence. GPS satellites drift off their paths, making global communication fail. Space stations become unstable. Orbital debris begins to cloud the planet. The sky becomes a junkyard of broken tech. Scenario 8. Blood and bodily fluids behave strangely. Gravity helps your blood circulate. Without it, your body swells in strange places. Fluids shift upward, causing pressure in the head and chest. You feel dizzy, bloated, and weak. Your organs lose their orientation. Prolonged exposure could mean heart strain, vision loss, or even unconsciousness. Scenario 9. Food and water become useless. You try to pour water, it becomes a floating sphere. You bite into food, but crumbs fly off unpredictably. Cooking? Impossible. Flames behave strangely without gravity. Boiling water doesn't rise, and ovens can't circulate heat. Starvation becomes a real concern unless you can adapt quickly to zero-gravity living. Scenario 10. Fires go out or explode. Without gravity, flames behave oddly. They form blue spheres instead of dancing upward. Some fires die out entirely due to lack of convection. Others explode if too much fuel accumulates in one place. Firefighting becomes an alien science. The danger shifts from spreading flames to floating infernos. Scenario 11. Timekeeping fails. Pendulums stop. Weights no longer fall. Many clocks, both digital and analog, begin to malfunction. Your concept of time starts to blur. Without sunrise and sunset tied to atmospheric behavior, the day loses meaning. Societies that rely on tight schedules collapse into chaos. Scenario 12. Wildlife loses its rhythm. Birds can't land. Insects drift away. Burrowing animals panic as tunnels become death traps. Ecosystems unravel. Migration halts. Predator-prey dynamics collapse. Life in the wild, perfectly tuned to gravity's rhythm, falters in surreal and catastrophic ways. Scenario 13. Outer space becomes closer than you think. With gravity gone and air thinning, the barrier between Earth and space grows faint. Stars appear even during the day. Radiation once blocked by the atmosphere starts to filter in. The sky no longer feels safe. Earth slowly becomes more like Mars, barren and exposed. Scenario 14. Artificial gravity becomes the new gold. Countries, corporations, and billionaires begin racing to build artificial gravity chambers. Giant centrifuges, spinning bunkers, and magnetic anchor suits dominate the market. The poor float helplessly. The rich stay grounded. Gravity becomes currency. The social divide becomes literal. Scenario 15. Emotions spiral without a center. Without the steady tug of gravity, even your emotions feel unanchored. Anxiety rises. Sleep becomes difficult. Depression spreads as humans realize their world is coming apart. Literally, Earth was our cradle and gravity our blanket. Now we are cold and unheld. Scenario 16. The Earth itself starts to break apart. Mountains crumble upward. Tectonic plates, no longer bound, begin to slide and fracture in unpredictable ways. Earthquakes turn bizarre. Chunks of land levitate. The Earth's crust might slowly separate from the core. It may take months or years, but the planet begins to die from the inside out. Scenario 17. Plants lose their way. Roots no longer dig downward. Trees begin to drift, their limbs curling in confusion. Photosynthesis slows as nutrients can't move properly through stems. Pollination fails as insects scatter. Crops wither. Forests decay. The green breath of Earth begins to fade. Scenario 18. Religion and philosophy are rewritten. For centuries, gravity was a given, a law. Now it's gone. Religions struggle to explain the shift. Scientists search for culprits, quantum disturbances, cosmic anomalies, even alien interference. Philosophers ask, were we ever meant to stay grounded? What is a world with no center? Scenario 19. Humanity begins building sky cities. After months of chaos, survivors adapt. Floating bunkers, anchored by magnetic fields, rise above the old world. Sky cities tethered to mountain peaks or artificial anchors form a new society. Engineers invent new forms of transport. The human species begins a new chapter, unbound. Scenario 20. Gravity returns. Violently. Without warning, gravity slams back. Everything drops at once. Water, debris, people. Floating cities crash. Buildings crumble. Survivors are thrown to the ground. Those unprepared are crushed. A second extinction event occurs, not from gravity leaving, but from its merciless return. Scenario 21. Space tourism becomes a necessity. With Earth no longer offering natural gravity, wealthy elites begin moving to orbiting habitats and lunar bases that simulate gravity artificially. Once a luxury, space travel becomes survival. Earth becomes a shell, abandoned by those who can afford to leave, left to those who can't. Scenario 22. Earth's core decouples. Without gravity keeping Earth's molten core in place, it begins to drift relative to the crust. Magnetic fields weaken. Compass needles go haywire. Solar radiation penetrates with lethal force. The protective shell that allowed life begins to fracture, inside and out. Scenario 23. A child born in 0G becomes something new. A baby is born in the new, gravity-free Earth. Their bones form differently. Muscles adapt. Their mind is shaped by a world without up or down. They are the first of a new kind of human. One who has never known weight, falling, or standing tall. Evolution begins a new page.